welcome. Today for our adventure, we're going back to the river. I'm hiking into my flood gold spot, and I'm hoping to show you guys how I do my production gold panning. If you want to see what that is, stay tuned and I'll explain it. On my last trip up here, crossing the river, it got pretty slippery even with my water shoes on. So I'm gonna try something a little different today.
Come on, you can't tell me that's not sexy.
So the idea here is that if you ever use felt soles on fishing shoes, it gives you more traction on the moss or the slick rocks. I've heard putting socks over your shoes can have the same effect. So anyone who out there who doesn't have the money to spend on felt bottom boots or something, trying this out. Now, you know, it's not perfect, but it's definitely a big improvement. So it turns out wearing socks over your water shoes is not only sexy, but it's practical. And it's cheap. Looks like someone lost their raft or float tube. I'm gonna go get that and probably slice a hole in it and pack it out so it's not just rotting away on the river or ending up in the ocean or something. I made it up to my flood gold spot where I want to do some production gold panning today. And you might ask yourself, what is production gold panning? Well, for me, it's basically just concentrating gravel down, panning it out to black sand or your heavies, and then throwing it in a concentrator or a concentration bucket bag, take it home, and then get the gold out. So I will show you the difference between normal panning and my version of production gold panning. And of course, you're not going to get the production as if you were running a high banker or dredging, but it comes in handy when the water's flat, you can't set up a sluice, or you don't have time to set up a sluice. And so it allows you to get the most amount of concentrates in the minimal amount of time, because time management is very important if you really want to get on better gold. So let's see how this goes. Equipment. This is a fairly inexpensive way to get gold. And what I brought with me today, my Garrett Super Sluice pan. Definitely allows you to pan more material quicker. I've got a little tool to just scrape and pry with. Got my fancy military shovel. I highly recommend getting one of these if you don't have one. A pair of pruners for anything that gets in your way. A cons bucket. Some sealable plastic sandbags that I put my cons in. And all this fits in my backpack. I hiked in, I'm gonna hike out. And also a classifier. Any classifier will do, but today I have the Gold Slinger. Have to thank H&H Prospecting. I won this in one of their raffles online, one of their YouTube videos. And this one just happens to be signed by Dakota Fred. So we'll see if he brings me some luck today. That's the equipment I'm using. Pretty simple. Let's see how much cons we can get. This is the spot I'm going to work on. take a few test pans to begin with, see if I can't find some concentrations. And if you want more info on this particular spot, check out my last video. I give some more information on that. This gold is really small here, and it's just flood gold, but you know, there's 10 plus colors in that pan, and there's a lot of black sand here, so it's hard to separate. But that's why I plan on taking my cons home, and I'll run it all through the gold cube or something. The whole purpose of the production gold panning is to avoid wasting time and using a snuffer bottle to pick out that tiny little gold out of all that black sand. That can be very time consuming. That's why I've learned to just put my cons in a tub, take it home, and then finish the separation. So I'm going to try and show you the difference, how much time you save by just dumping your cons in a bucket versus the old snuffer bottle. So now that I have a full pan, classified down to 1/4 inch, 1/8, I can't remember. Anyways, we all know classifying is a good thing, it speeds things up. This is the next step. Alright, if I was dumping my cons, that's what I would dump in my container. It's probably about 1/2 to 3/4 black sand. Bam, done. Now, keep counting. This is where the snuffer bottle gets slow. This pan actually looks better than my last one. All right, so after you get all the gold out, or you think you get all the gold, what do you do to your black sand? Dump it back down, right? You might have missed some, and that adds up. Spend some time double checking. You know, it's just a waste of time. You want to find more gold? Skip the snuffer bottle and find a safe container to put your cons in. Take care of it when you get home. You save a lot of time. Again with the ants. Maybe they're protecting a big pile of gold. I think there's probably good gold back there, but it's super brushy. I don't know if I have the motivation to go back there. So you know what? Oh, my gold pan's back there. Now I have to go. Yep, let's do this. That was way easier than I thought. Down here under the brush, I actually found a nice little pile of pea gravel and nice concentration of sand and gravel. I think I'll give that a try. Glad I threw my pan up there. Just a little bit of black sand in that gravel. Again, this is why I like throwing cons in a bucket, because it would take you forever to get all the gold out of that. So this is from my test pan up there in the bushes. Definitely way better than lower on the bank, so I'm gonna move my production panning up there and see if we can't get a nice fat streak of gold in the pan later on. Up above the eroded bank here on top, there's this little gravel channel. There's the edge. There's from left to right, and when you're looking for flood gold, this is a good area to check, because these bushes right here created this low pressure zone, and then under this gravel there's a layer that's semi-solid and has roots running in it. So that kind of gives a flat surface, or a firm surface, for this gravel to settle on. And if you can see in here, this gravel right here is full of black sand. Excuse me. And there's that layer where it changes underneath it. So this is why with flood gold, sometimes I only collect the top few inches. I'm gonna do a test pan of this. I am just getting an insane amount of black sand out of the classifier down there. This is out of just that one test pan. It's pretty good for Washington, in this section of the river. There's enough gold in the sand that I'm panning out with just the sand that's stuck to my wet pan, and I'm getting like half a dozen colors out of it. It's pretty cool. The best concentration of gold in that spot's kind of tapering out, so pretty much out of time anyways, so I'm gonna pack it up and head back to the truck. And I plan on making a part 2 of this video. I'm going to run all of that black sand, the concentrate I got today, through the gold cube in my garage, and get it all cleaned up and get a nice total off of that. So I will see you then. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Sooner or later, I'm going to take you guys on a rock hounding adventure, because that's one of my other major hobbies. But just found this chunk of petrified wood laying here on the gravel bar. You can see the wood grain right there. Of course, rounded by the river. Pretty neat.